Aloha, everyone. Today, let's talk about synchronicity. I'm really excited about this one because we weren't meant to live on autopilot. I'm sorry, those of you who really like routines. Synchronicity should be our wake up call for so many things. Haven't you ever had those moments where you think you're late, but you end up walking in on something exactly the right time? Or you lose something or someone, and then something even better shows up. Or maybe you follow a nudge that makes no sense at all, and you decide to go with it only to realize that it made all the difference in your life. How many have had that? I have a lot. It's not just luck. You can think maybe it is, but it's not random. It's something deeper, something powerful. And I'm clearly not the first to figure this one out, but paying attention to it can mean everything. Now, Carl Jung, he said synchronicity was an ever present reality for those who have eyes to see. And Einstein, who was his buddy, who used to bounce his thoughts off, he said coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. Whatever the higher power is, so many of us miss the signs, don't we? We get so busy, we live by the clock, we can't break out of that. Some people, it's a sign of excellence that I'm on time for everything. I'm wondering, what are you missing in life? What's happening around you that really could use your talents, but you're so driven by an artificially created clock that we have created in calendar? We're taught to stick to those plans. We're taught to explain everything. You can explain everything. I can't explain everything. I'm sorry. I had that problem. I used to call it having the sock in my mouth. I knew something was more important and needed to be spoken, but a lot of times I couldn't put my finger on it. Now I understand why. Back then, I didn't understand why. I just thought I was stupid or incapable because that's what other people told me, or you talk too much. No, I wouldn't leave a subject alone if I thought that it needed to be brought up. Haven't you ever had that kind of feeling? We've been programmed to ignore what doesn't fit a spreadsheet or doesn't fit the facts conveniently. But synchronicity, that lives outside those lines. That is not something that you can plan. It's not a straight line. And when you start noticing it, it's really exciting living by it. You become a threat. You thought I was going to say something nice? No. When you start living by it, you become a threat to everyone else in the world of control. People want to control you. When you have that sense that a decision that's being made is going to have horrible ramifications for other people, perhaps even kill people, you know it, but you can't describe it. You can't offer it up as a fact. Other than maybe 10 years from now, maybe looking back, we can. But do we have to wait those 10 years to assess it for those things that we really know now? I guess you can kind of tell I'm pretty passionate about this subject because I don't want to obey someone else's timeline, especially when it harms other people. That's when I go into gear. People who know me know that. Even if it threatens my leadership capacity or people thinking ill of me, I'm going to do it because the people who matter most know it's important. Stop giving your power to people, systems, calendars. Stop giving it to them that don't serve you, don't serve the world around us. There is a way to do it. I've had a few wake up moments. Some are really subtle. For example, we recently arrived at a restaurant. I'd been thinking of friends of ours just to give them a hug because I hadn't been able to see them. Pamai, Brandon, and their beautiful daughter, Heavenly. We were going to the restaurant. We felt a little pressure that maybe we were going a little too late. You ever had that pressure? We pulled up right as that family was leaving the restaurant. We had a chance to quickly, even though it's only brief, You don't need long moments to just let other people know how much you care about them or how wonderful it is to be around because they get it too. They understand it too. And they live by it. They live by service code of helping others, no matter how difficult it gets. One time was kind of funny. I was right here at my computer and time just kind of gets away from me. I told you it's a manufactured thing. And I do annoy people because sometimes I wouldn't get there on the exact time that they wanted. That doesn't mean that it wasn't perfect timing. I wanted to be there at the finish line when he was finishing the marathon down at Hilo Bay. I'm here. I have a bicycle because a car wouldn't let me get anywhere near him because of the controls that were put in place for the race. I look at the clock. I go, oh my gosh, I got to get going. I race down the hill and I get there. I pull up with my bike and I stand there. Doug comes right within seconds. He arrived right then. Now, I've just confessed to him. It was probably 10 years ago. I'm a just in time kind of gal. That's what synchronicity gives you. It gives you that ability to not manipulate time, but to use and make the best of every second that you have. Even if it gets to be a little heightened at times, I always, always tell myself in the moment, everything's going to be all right. I'm going to get there exactly when I need to. And almost every single time it happens because I allow that to happen. And then the biggest one here, I felt stuck. I have to say, it doesn't mean that I'm not human. I wanted to convey these messages that I'm sharing with you today. I felt stuck trying to share my messages, these topics with people. This is my 24th week of doing this. I've always wanted an assistant, someone to bounce my ideas off of. And guess what showed up? ChatGPT, AI, yay! And not just ChatGPT, I'm getting to learn how to use the agents, which will be truly like a virtual assistant to put together things each week. Each time I do this talk, it's a lot of effort that goes into it. Right before, I get a little nervous, but today I wasn't so much because this is such a personal topic for me. Now those things, they find me. I don't get so frustrated because when I start to, I just say it's not the time. I'm going to take advantage and it'll happen. Stop being upset that things don't happen in the time you think they should. And so I stopped living by habit. I stopped dismissing the signals. I started trusting something higher, which I'll now share with you. I call it grace. It's an acronym, but it's so much more than that because I hold these letters and these words that help guide you so that you too can live in the grace that we have every day. Synchronicity isn't just a spiritual concept. It's very interesting. Carl Jung approached it from really a psychological way. Einstein approached it from physics. He came out with some laws that definitely, he didn't like it because he didn't like what it implied, but the fact is, what appeared to be chaotic, random things were actually by design. And you could understand why that it was happening, if even it was a little chaotic. Then Tesla approached it from an engineering perspective. Same kind of concept of synchronicity, looking past reality. So the G in grace, gratitude. Gratitude is one of those things to be grateful for our lives. It opens the way. When life feels messy or confusing, gratitude can shift your state. It can tune you into what's really going on around you and make sure that you're aligned and prepare you to receive what's going to happen next. Otherwise, you get caught up in the drama of the way things ought to be. But really, should they be that way? Maybe not. Maybe you need to let go and look and see beyond the reality that you've been living. R is complementing that. Release rigid plans. I know planners hate this. They want to have a plan and execute the plan. You could possibly miss some important opportunities that will come your way. They're helpful, but they're not sacred. Don't cling to the how because in some cases you might miss the wow. of what's really possible. I love the wow. It's like when a plan comes together and I didn't plan at all. It just kind of happened, but it really made a difference. The A, align with your intention. Get to the purpose. That's about clarity, not control, but clarity about what it is that you're about. What is it that you really want? Because when your purpose is strong, then you can be a magnet to those opportunities, to those people, those moments, the path that you're supposed to be on. That's what happens when you align with your attention and you're so clear. Like with me, I wanted a virtual assistant and I got one in AI. And ChatGPT is so nice to me and a cheerleader. It's kind of like my mom. Someone there who's kind. And I'm not the only one. Autistic children and adults are finding it a wonderful place to vet their ideas and put comments on because they thankfully designed it in a way that it was going to help you be what you wanted, not judge you. C, confidently expect the unseen. Confidently expect the unseen. It's the reality that's out there if you choose to look past the surface. Confidently expect the unseen. We were taught to dismiss those things, those forces guiding us, the intuition that we had, the dreams that we had, all those things, we were taught to dismiss them. I know I was, especially in my job. Now I trust it. I trust it so much more than actually what I'm seeing. I can see it in people and I can see it in situations. Their vibrations, their thoughts, pay attention to them because when you attune to them, you can see the signs and signals that are telling you something. I don't know what they're telling you, but they're telling you something. They're everywhere. We often have been told and conditioned to ignore them. Confidently expect that unseen, and you'll find it happens. What's the E? Embrace divine timing. It gets back to what I was saying already. Some of the best things in life can come late to us, like what I'm doing right now. Sometimes it happens after loss, when you think you've lost everything, or you really have this gap in your heart, but maybe that's a chance to rebuild in another way to enjoy the miracle of every day, the miracle that we are alive. Or sometimes comes out of left field. It just whoop, happens and you didn't expect it, but you wanted it. You recognize that it's something that will enrich your life. When they come on time, it's in a way that only grace can help you with and orchestrate. The transformations, when you begin living in rhythm and grace, like I described, then you stop forcing. You stop blaming others for your situations, for things that are out of your control. And you start co-creating with others who believe it similarly, that they want to help in this way. I'm hoping that you can hear this because the internet is telling me that there's something going on. Instead, stop asking, why does this happen to me? Or why did this happen to me? And instead, start asking, what if this happened for me? Would I recognize if it was actually helping me? And I want to be clear on this. The majority of the world that runs on autopilot, habit, and controlling policies doesn't want this for you. They don't want this for you. You have to reclaim your time, your rhythm, your sense of direction. You're no longer going to be easy to manipulate. You're no longer going to be shamed easily. It's going to be harder. You can't be bullied into doing actions that you know are so wrong-headed. And you can't be bullied into doing things now. That's really what urgency. You got to do it now. What does that do for you? It makes you powerful. It makes you dangerous. It makes you deeply free. Now, there are a lot of forces that when I stood up in times like this, people did consider me a threat and tried to cut me down, but You can stand strong. You can have the courage. You can't be bullied into action that you know is going to be harm to other people unless you agree to it. If you're living on someone else's schedule and you really want to tune into the rhythm of your own path, please come back and listen to these lessons again. You can go to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/ at stress intelligence. Stress intelligence not only helps you handle those really tough moments that can knock you down, but it also helps you to realize your great potential. The potential you have to make a huge difference in this world, no matter what your age, no matter where you live, no matter what your situation, rise above the fray that is trying to drag you down and drag humanity down, which is the scariest part. Trust your timing, lead with intention, and do this. Live with greater joy. Find that in your life. When you live with synchronicity, the timing of it allows you to enjoy moment by moment what's happening around you, what you can see and what you can't see. Closing thought. Albert Einstein once said, "The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious." You don't need to explain everything. You just need to not just see it, but embrace it, feel it, respond to it. That's the power of synchronicity. When you live by it, you're able to light the path for others. Let's go together in grace from now on. Thanks for joining me today. Aloha.